When I left you guys in the last video, I was taking measurements for the overhead lights, but it turned out that I couldn't take measurements for all of them. Before I start, there's always something, right? You can't just do something. I need gussets here on these two ribs to help support the weight on the ceiling, just like these, just not that big, because there's not going to be shelves attached to these. At least not big shelves like that. Maybe a small shelf in the future, but I would like to have this area open for tall stuff like fishing rods, paddles, and broom, whatever has to be right here on this wall. So the gussets are going to be smaller, and I have remnants from making these gussets here. Those are the cutoffs, and I have 10 of these, so I might as well use them. So we'll take a compass.
I figure that's a good width. Right. Describe where the cut's going to be.
I really like the curved look, so we're going to do that all over again with these gussets. What's nice is that I only have to do half the cutting because one side's already cut. And then of course the angles where the wall and the ceiling are going to be. And I can figure that out by doing something square, like let's say these boxes out here. Just like that. I'm looking at where the line ends that I just drew compared to the box. And there, well, it'd have to be here, derp. So this one is on this plane. This one is on that plane. That's 90 degrees. Now I can take a pencil and scribe the bottom. And I know I'll have a 90-degree corner, and this one is going to be a little bit longer than that one. Yeah, that works real nice. And once I cut out this curve, it'll match the rest of the shelves and stuff that I have. And for the time being, I'll be able to mark the ceiling because all these are going to be the same. And then I can measure in between those two marks, and I'll know how big the lights are going to be in these two areas right here.
Which is 14 inches. So this minus 14 is 63 and a half. 63 and a half plus 14 is 77 and a half. I'm gonna
Double check that math before I go ahead and
confirm that. There. Should be about 14.
Yep. Measure twice, cut once, and then cut it again anyways because you measured wrong first two times.
63 and a half?
Hooray for math. 63 and a half. 63 and a half. We don't need this barrel connector. Boink. This is going to be on the wall, but we want the lights to be 63 and a half, so let's measure that out. Here you can see why it's nice to have an overhang on your workbench, so when the need arises you can clamp stuff down. 63 and a half, I said. Holy moly. Can you see that? There's a cut point right there, just shy of 63 and a half. That is pretty amazing. I didn't expect it. I thought it would come a little bit shy of the mark, kind of like this right here. The LED ends about there. Would have been nice for it to end there, but it didn't. So that's the thing, you know, you got to cut this where the cuts are, and that's it. But in this particular case, it worked out. 63 and a half. So that's my baby right there, just shy of the mark. If I can cut that exactly on the edge, boom. There you go. This is going to be my first light. It takes an aluminum track, 63.5, right there. Now I'll go ahead and I'll cut this on the chop saw outside, even though I hate cutting aluminum with the chop saw. I do believe what we can do is attach this. However, it's never that easy. This part's fine, but where it ends, and I'm going to need one of these connecting blocks. I have to cut the track here because this won't fit underneath the little diffusion cover. So like I said, you measure twice and cut twice, and it all works out in the end, right? Now I can finish doing what I'm doing, which is to take this 3M sticker cover off the back. First, let's attach this. You know, I don't want to make an instructional video on how to install these LED lights. I'm sure there are videos out there on how to do it. You see there's a little strip there. So forgive me if I'm vague about this. But again, I just wanted to show you the process, kind of like Cliff Notes. They still have Cliff Notes in school, where instead of reading the whole book, they give you the highlights and you just read the Cliff Notes. A lot easier, just so you can pass the test and make the teacher be quiet. These are the Cliff Notes on how to put LED lights up. Okay, so now that's in place. The reason I put it there is I want it to overhang, kind of like that. Okay, this will help get that measurement correct. I hope you guys are taking all of this with a grain of salt. Because I bought the components from so many different places, there weren't exactly instructions on how to put it all together. This just happens to be the way that I did it, which may or may not be the right way. There you go. There's light number one. Now we're going to make another one just like this. Cut marks here at 39 and an eighth. That's too big, so I got to go back to this one, which is 35 and 3/8. So I'll be an inch shy on either side, but that's okay. I still think it'll look okay. This is the only time I'm really going to scrutinize it. Probably once it's installed, I might give it a glance at every now and again, but to look at details like I'm doing right now, probably never again. So how many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one.
Say 38, or whatever it's going to be, 35 and a half. 2, 3, 4. One more.
That's my extra. From 26 feet. I took a lot of measurements earlier. I get lucky sometimes when it comes to measuring. Not often. But in this particular case, proper preparation actually paid off. Well, spoiler alert, these LED lights turned out really good. And if I walked away with a little bit of knowledge from doing it for the first time, it would be that these solderless connections are well worth the money. If I had to solder every one of these little wires, if there are plumbers out there that use PEX versus the old school soldering, you understand, it's so much easier, more reliable. Solderless connections turned out to be great. Another thing that I would always do the same way again in the future are these aluminum tracks. I can't imagine just using the stickum and expecting that to stay put, you know? The lights would sag and droop and fall, and they'd be harsh to look at. These aluminum tracks with the diffusers on them, I recommend them highly. Well, I've determined where the clips are going to go on these LED lights, the short ones and the long ones. These clips are provided by the manufacturer of these channels. Now I can use this marked channel to determine where the clips are going to be on this truss right here. That direction, where they are left to right, is really just for symmetry. Looking to really pay attention though when it goes this way, so that all the clips, this one, this one, this one, and this one, they all line up. You know, that part's pretty important. This channel is about half the thickness of a 2x4. So what I'm gonna do is put this in place almost on the edge, and then make a line going down there. Without moving it, which is difficult. That's about right. Yeah, good. That gives me a crosshair in which to put my clips. I'm going to start by using an awl. You guys know what an awl is? Very pointy. And I'm just pushing it into where the crosshair is going to be. That'll guide my drill bit. I can do my best, whatever, to make this work. Although, you ever use a drill bit, find there are stripes in the wood there. The darker stripes are more dense. You want to go here and all of a sudden it jumps over there. So that's what that awl is trying to prevent, so that the bit goes where it's supposed to. So now this one, it looks like I got off my mark, so I'm going to start this way, and then correct after I'm in there just a little bit, and up. There we go. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? Yep. There you go. Now when I put those clips up there, they hopefully will line up. So I'm going to take 4 clips for these screws, also provided. Last one over here. Now with the awl, I'm gonna try to position these just so. That's good. Go that way with that one. Good. Now I can take one of the unmarked lights that are all the same and center it, and they just snap in place. Boink. You know, part of the installation of these aluminum tracks is very easy, but when taken into account of everything combined, you know, cutting the LEDs to length, that has to be very precise, getting your measurements, figuring out where everything has to go, and then wiring it up and getting all your components. Yeah, it's easy, it's plug and play, but it certainly tests those wrinkles in your brain. This project definitely put some wrinkles in my brain, but it was actually fun and rewarding, and I think worth the expense. Now all I gotta do is wire them up and put in gussets and secure these wall studs and insulate the roof and fix that short cable, tighten that up, and all I gotta do is... Any wonder I drank? I think all I gotta do is sit down for the rest of the day. Actually, I ended the day switching gears and working on a different electrical task that would eventually help me get these lights on in a more permanent way. I'm cutting cables. You see I'm cutting cables? No, for real, I'm cutting cables. That is so dirty.
You're going to choose the right gearing. So you press this button from the other side, and you can spin it around for different sizes, different things. That's what I want right there.
There's one crimp that's on there, really nice. Slide that back over there. Heat it up. Shrinky dinky. There you go. So you guys have a lot of carbon scoring. You've seen a lot of battles?
Hello.
These wires would help tie the last of the starboard battery bank together. No restraining bolts necessary. I even made some smaller wires, like you see here. Number 6, I think this is. Somebody out there is going to be proud of me because fuse block. Instead of a bunch of wires going to a terminal like this, all ganged together, they'll be individual. It won't look like Clark Griswold's house on Christmas.
I told you had too many plugs in one outlet. Oh, God.
You may not know this, but once upon a time I had a 1964 Impala 2-door hardtop. What a ride. Fast, stick shift, huge X-jumper, you know, hydraulic car. So the suspension was very stiff, so it didn't act like a floaty car. Anyways, I did a tremendous amount of electrical work to that car and eventually gave it to a friend of mine who helped me work on that car a lot. And he would complain about my wiring all the time. Years after, he's like, dude, you know, he would stumble across something that I had done spur of the moment and forgotten about years and years later, and he's like, how do you live with yourself doing this terrible work? So maybe he's out there somewhere watching this video and he's like, you know what? You're using a fuse block. Good for you. Good for you. You've grown up. You're grown up and you grows up and you're all grown up.
You know what, big boy? You're grown up. You're grown up. Yeah, I did that.
Although I wasn't able to finish the overhead lighting this particular day, the very next day I was right back at it. Well, I got myself a spool of proper wire. It's the right size, should make the job easier, as well as a tiny screwdriver set. And there's my little advanced tiny screwdriver. What I'm going to do is attach the LED strips to one another. I've already done one. Easy enough to attach the wire to the block. I drilled a hole through the truss. This will get covered by insulation, and then it comes down to the next one. What I'll do next is I'll attach that to there, and that'll be the end. So that starts there, essentially it goes there. Over here I have to add one. I'll have to add one there, and then jump from here up above the insulation that I already installed out to there. That'll come across to there, and finally I'll run that wire down to my little black box, and we'll have overhead lights soon enough. And I'll be able to put insulation up there, because that's pretty much the last of the wiring. Note to self, next time, don't forget to put the wires up first. Jeez. Before I knew it, I had the last bay of insulation taken back down, and the last bit of wiring that had to go under the insulation was finished. Okay, there's the wire that's going to go in. There's a wire that goes over there. There's one tucked in there that goes there, there. Everything is attached. One thing I'm going to do is take the wire that's coming down from the first one and use a continuity tester to make sure that I've got continuity between the beginning and the end, and that I don't have anything touching that could cause a short and or a fire or something crazy, you know. In all likelihood, I would just short something out and ruin the lights, which I don't want to do. I've come too far to skip this step. So I'm putting it on resistance. I'll know that that works when I put the two leads together. Check my connections. Yep, there we go. See, I'm no expert in these things, but I know that if I touch the two of them and I get a reaction, that means I've got continuity there. First thing I'm going to do, this wire runs through all the lights. So I'm going to jump the two of them, and I'm not getting a reaction. It's good. It means I don't have a short. Now I should be able to take one of the leads and put it on there and find a reaction when I go up here. Yep, there it is. That's negative. No reaction on the other one. Good. But nowhere along the lines are they touching. Good. Once in a great while. Again, my friend in New York is probably like, huh, how about that? He's actually doing things the right way. He's probably saying dumbass doesn't know how to use a multimeter. Give me a break, huh? I don't do this for a living. Let's get that damn insulation back up. tucked away. I've used a little wire loom and integrated the load wire into the switch wires. You can see that there are plugs into this harness, which goes across to here into the boxes. Everything is there, kind of willy-nilly. I'd like to see some proper, maybe armored cable out there, or EMT, or I don't know. There's other things to do before this is buttoned up. However, I think it's ready right now to plug in just to test. So I brought in a 110 extension cord. No reason this shouldn't work. Okay, one is plugged in. Let's see which one it is. I believe it's the bench top. Oh, yeah, there it is. Had to slide the thing up. And see how we can dim that. Yep, okay. So that's that one. I've seen that one work already. I haven't seen the overhead work yet. It sure would be nice to have the inverter wired up, but I still have to tuck away some of the solar panel wires, so that's why I'm doing it this way for now. So I'm gonna hit this button in 3, 2, there it is. How about it? Golly, I can't wait to see this at night. That's gonna be pretty amazing. Yes, sir. And again, I'm ready to cover up the ceiling and not have to worry about it being dark in here or hot. Can you say progress? Luke was excited. He's like, yeah, way to go, Dad. You didn't set it on fire like I thought you would. No, I didn't, did I? Good. How about you, Jabs? What do you think? Was that good? Did I do a good job? Huh? Did I do a good... Ow, you're stepping on my foot. Okay. Much more to do. Much more to see. I gotta go feed the pups. I will see you soon. How's about that? Whee! Oh, Marty, you get excited over the silliest things.